Assalamu alaikum, fam. Hope you're doing well. So, we're continuing our reading of Sahih al Bukhari, and we're in the Book of Wudu, Volume 1, highly important. Go ahead and listen to this as you cut onions, cook some rice, draw, play with your cat, whatever it is you're doing. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Narrated Thabi, Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, said, the Prophet, peace be upon him, asked for water, and a tumbler with a broad base and not so deep, containing a small quantity of water, was brought to him, whereby he put his fingers in it. Anas further said, I noticed the water springing out from amongst his fingers. Anas added, I estimated that the people who performed ablution with it numbered between 70 and 80. Okay, so this is the water miracle. Fingers. Chapter 47. To perform ablution with 1 mud of water. Mud is practically 2/3 of a kilogram. Narrated Anas, may Allah be pleased with him. The Prophet, peace be upon him, used to take a bath with 1 sa, or up to 5 mud. 1 sa equals 4 mud of water, and used to perform ablution with 1 mud of water. To pass wet hands over kufain, 2 leather socks covering the ankles. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, may Allah be pleased with him. Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas said, the Prophet, peace be upon him, passed wet hands over his kufain. Abdullah bin Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, asked Umar about it. Umar replied in the affirmative and added, whenever Sa'ad narrates a hadith from the Prophet, peace be upon him, there is no need to ask anyone else about it. Hey, look at that. Narrated Al-Mughira bin Shuba, may Allah be pleased with him. Once Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, went out to answer the call of nature, and I followed him with a tumbler containing water. And when he finished, I poured water, and he performed ablution, and passed wet hands over his kufain, 2 leather socks. Narrated Jafar bin Amir bin Umayyah ad-Damri, my father said, I saw the Prophet, peace be upon him, passing wet hands over his kufain, 2 leather socks. Here, look at that, how many different narrations we have in Bukhari just about that. Narrated Jafar bin Amr, my father said, I saw the Prophet, peace be upon him, passing wet hands over his imama, turban, and kufain, 2 leather socks. If one puts on kuf just after performing ablution, there is no need to wash one's feet again in ablution. 24 hours for non-travelers and 3 days for travelers. Narrated Urwa bin al-Mughira, my father said, once I was in the company of the Prophet, peace be upon him, on a journey, and I dashed to take off his kuf. He ordered me to leave them, as he had put them on after performing ablution. So he passed wet hands over them. Not repeating ablution after eating mutton and asawik. Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman ate such food but did not repeat ablution. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, ate a piece of cooked mutton from the shoulder region and offered salah prayer without repeating ablution. Narrated Jafar bin Amr bin Umayyah, my father said, I saw Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, taking a piece of cooked mutton from shoulder region, and then he was called for salah prayer. He put his knife down and offered salah without repeating ablution. Chapter 51. Rinsing one's mouth with water after eating as-sawik without repeating ablution. Narrated Suwaid bin an-Numayn, may Allah be pleased with him. In 1 year of conquest of Khaybar, I went with Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, till we reached Sahba, a place near Khaybar. where Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, offered the Asr prayer and asked for food. Nothing but a sawik was brought. He ordered it to be moistened with water. He and all of us ate it, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, got up for Maghrib prayer, rinsed his mouth with water, and we did the same. And he then offered Salat prayer without repeating the abolition. Narrated Maymuna, may Allah be pleased with her, the Prophet, peace be upon him, ate a piece of mutton from shoulder region and then offered Salat prayer without repeating the abolition. So let's just put mutton over here. All this talk of mutton makes me want some. Chapter 52. Whether to rinse the mouth after drinking milk. I remember because the fat leaves a flavor. It can distract you in the prayer. Do you remember when we read that in the other ones? Let's see. Narrated Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, Allah's Messenger drank milk, rinsed his mouth, and said, "It has fat." Chapter 53. Abolition after sleep, and whoever considers it unnecessary to repeat abolition after dozing once or twice, or after nodding once in a slumber. Narrated Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, "If any one of you feels drowsy while offering Salah prayer, he should go to bed, sleep till his slumber is over, because in praying while drowsy, one does not know whether one is asking for forgiveness or for a bad thing for oneself." Yeah, that one, it's very merciful because sometimes you push yourself too hard. You had a deadline for something, you stayed up way past your bedtime, and then when it comes time for Fajr, you wake up, but you're almost not there. So it's almost like this way of you being like, okay, go to bed, fix it. And I remember when we read, if you do it before Duhur, it counts as Fajr still. So you need to do it. Like if Fajr is like at 6, you need to have your thing done at before 12. That's what we read in the other ones. So it's interesting. Narrated Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "If any one of you feels drowsy while offering Salah prayer, he should sleep till he understands what he is reciting." Chapter 54. To perform abolition even on having no hadath. Narrated Amr bin Amr, Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "The Prophet, peace be upon him, used to perform abolition for every Salah prayer. I asked Anas, what you used to do? Anas replied, we used to pray with the same abolition until we break it with hadath." So here you see the variation, which is good. So we had like the mutton one, and then we had him eating the as-sawik, and then we have here where it's like doing it every time. Narrated Suwaid bin Numayn, may Allah be pleased with him, in the year of the conquest of Khaybar, I went with Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, till we reached Sahba, where Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, led the Asr prayer and asked for food. So we have Khaybar. A lot of these are about that time. Nothing but sawik was brought, and we ate it and drank water. The Prophet, peace be upon him, got up for Maghrib prayer, rinsed his mouth with water, and then led the prayer without repeating the abolition. Chapter 55. One of the major sins is not to protect oneself, one's clothes and body from one's urine, i.e. from being soiled with it. Narrated Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, once the Prophet, peace be upon him, while passing through one of the Haytan gardens or graveyards of Al-Madinah or Mecca, heard the voices of two persons who were being tortured in their graves. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, these two persons are being tortured not for a major sin to avoid. The Prophet, peace be upon him, then added, yes, they are being tortured for a major sin. Indeed, one of them never saved himself from being soiled with his urine, while the other used to go about with calumnies to make enmity between friends. The Prophet, peace be upon him, then asked for a green branch of a date palm tree, broke it in 2 pieces, and put one on each grave. On being asked why he had done so, he replied, I hope that their torture might be lessened till these got dried. I remember that one. So it's like the urine, It's like the stench. Really smelly and bad. Not only is the urine unhygienic and has, germs and stuff, but it's very unpleasant for the people you have to sit next to. They have to suffer with that smell. And then you've ruined somebody's mood. And it's hard for them to breathe if they sit next to you and you're trying to focus on something and the overwhelming stench of urine is there. It's very intense, So we can understand it. Well, Alhamdulillah, hope you learned a lot, fam.